What's coming will shock majority of the world. And no, that's not me trying to sell you guys the used car or trying to clickbait you. It literally is going to shock a lot of people that are not prepared for what is happening. And in this video, I'm going to be outlining everything that's happening and also giving you guys a video clip where Elon Musk literally warned you about what's coming, yet most of the world did not listen. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a quick look at this post here, it is regarding what's happening and what's most likely going to be hitting very, very soon. We have here a whole bunch of companies are going to implode in 2025. A whole bunch of layoffs are coming. We really need to up the conversation on post-labor economics, and the economic utility of human cognitive labor is about to fall off a cliff. Robots aren't far behind. Now, listen. As we think about this, you might be saying, all right, this post is just fear-mongering. I'm done. I'm over this. And I would technically agree with you if it wasn't for everything that we have been witnessing since the pandemic, because it feels as though we are getting kind of shuffled into a cage where they're just testing things. And right now, the biggest thing that I have been really kind of watching is the public's acceptance of AI. And so far, there has been zero pushback on AI. It's been all acceptance. And a lot of it does come from applications like ChatGPT, for an example, where everyone's like, oh, wow, this is improving everything. This is great. But that's the problem, right? It starts with small things that the general public will accept. And then from that point on, it just accelerates and grows and grows and grows into a much larger problem. For an example, the BIS just recently put out a post, and this goes back to September 4th. Now, for those that don't know about the Bank for International Settlements, or the BIS, they are the central bank of central banks. They're the ones that have been really kind of making the calls and pulling the strings around our global monetary system since about roughly 1930. And we have here, generative AI boosts coding productivity by over 50%, with the most significant gains seen in junior developers. For senior programmers, the impact on productivity is less pronounced. Now, I went ahead and actually utilized AI, as funny as it sounds, to summarize this. And we have the study examines the impact of generative AI on labor productivity, focusing on the coding industry. In September of 2023, Ant Group launched CodeFuse, a large language model to assist programming teams. In a field experiment, one group of programmers had access to CodeFuse treatment group, while another did not, control group. The results showed a 55% increase in productivity measured by lines of code for the group using the AI, with about 1/3 of the gains directly due to code generated by the LLM. The increase was most significant among junior programmers, while senior staff saw less benefit, likely due to lower engagement with the tool. Now, why is this very important to know? Well, because this kind of leads me into the next post from the BIS, which was on September 2nd. And we have here, while higher paid jobs are much more exposed to AI, lower wage jobs face higher risk of automation. Thoughtful policy and collaborative efforts are crucial to ensure AI enhances rather than disrupts employment. And again, this all is pertaining to generative AI. If we're talking about programming, right? Coding. I do believe that very soon you're not going to really need to know how to code or even program. A lot of it is going to be AI code, which is crazy to think about because, again, we talk about jobs that will most likely be replaced by AI. Programming, coding, I think a lot of it will most likely be replaced by AI as well. The same goes for a lot of these other jobs. For an example, if we go over here to the findings, we have this study explores the evolving impact of AI on the US labor market by analyzing 711 occupational categories. It focuses on how AI might complement or substitute human labor based on the complexity of job-related skills and how these skills align with AI's cognitive capabilities. The study distinguishes between core skills central to a job and side skills, supportive tasks, examining AI's impact across wage levels. And here we have the key findings. High-wage occupations face more exposure to AI, but AI tends to complement their work by automating side skills. Legal research for lawyers, for an example, leaving core skills intact. Low-wage jobs are less exposed overall, but when they are, AI is more likely to replace their core task, clerk scheduling, and document preparation, making these roles more vulnerable to automation. This dynamic may increase economic inequality, as low-wage workers are more likely to be displaced by AI, while high-wage workers may see productivity gains. At high AI capabilities, up to 45% of skills in the highest wage quartile are exposed to AI compared to 26% in the lowest wage quartile, largely due to the physical interaction required in many low-wage jobs. And of course, we have the policy implications. There's a need for skill development, AI transparency, and international cooperation in labor policies to mitigate the risk of AI-driven inequality, while white-collar roles may be safe in the short to medium term due to the complexity of their core skills. Low-wage workers are at greater risk of displacement. Now, what's crazy about this is, if we go back to this post here from June of 2023, we have, does universal basic income work? These countries are putting it to the test. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, it's because as we look at what the BIS is warning us about, they're talking more so about autonomous jobs, jobs that could be replaced by utilizing automation through AI. And we have here guaranteed income schemes tried and tested. With the rising influence of AI and automation in the jobs market and a widening global wealth gap, guaranteed income schemes have been put forward as one part of the solution to growing inequality. The most comprehensive system is known as universal basic income. The World Bank defines UBI as follows: a program to be delivered in cash unconditionally and to everyone. Its design features all in cash, no conditions, and no targeting, challenge current practices to varying degrees. The World Bank says only a handful of countries have trialed UBI schemes, and no country has one in place long term. Now, there has been a ton of these experiments. Finland, for example, and they do have a breakdown here. Alaska as well. Again, we are witnessing UBI rolling out in a very large way. And even over here, we have a major warning from Elon Musk about 7 years ago. Talking 7 years ago. With more robots, massive unemployment will hit the globe. Universal basic income is necessary for human survival. 7 years ago, Elon Musk at the World Government Summit. Check this out.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better.
Okay.
What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah.
Because there is no job, machine, robot is taking over.
That's simply and I want to be clear that these are not things that I think that I wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say, what are we going to do about it? And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary. Now, the output of goods and services will be extremely high. So with automation, there will come abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. I think I think we'll just end up doing a universal basic income. It's going to be necessary. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? Like a lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. So if you don't have, if you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you, what's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? That's a much harder problem to deal with.
And this is exactly what is happening. Even right now, as we do look at layoffs and we look at, these companies that want to boost revenues, the best way to do this is by introducing AI and robots. And this is now becoming a reality. Robots are advancing, AI is advancing, and I don't think enough people are awake at this time to really kind of understand what the elites are preparing for. I mean, if we look at what the World Economic Forum was saying back in 2023, they were even saying AI and automation. And they were even telling us that, guess what? We already have experiments here around UBI. A lot of these were around 2017, 2018. Alaska's was around roughly 2021. Now, what's crazier about this is Canada. A universal basic income is now coming to Canada. The Liberals believe there will be a positive consequences of offering universal basic income, more government dependency by Justin Trudeau as he leads Canada towards communism. And if we go and check this out, this goes back to 2023.
Introduce a framework to develop a guaranteed livable basic income. We are struggling throughout this country with homelessness, food insecurity, poverty, health, mental health issues, and this is one way that we could start to look at these issues. It's not the only way, but it's certainly a key way.
And I think we've gathered a great deal of data to show the positive consequences of offering people the opportunity.
Half of Canadians are pessimistic about their personal finances. A quarter of low-income families cannot pay for monthly expenses.
Introduce.
And this is exactly what they want. Even over here, we have Wales to launch pilot universal basic income scheme as well to cover living cost. And right now, as inflation is still roaring, and as we do start to see even more and more debt pile on, yeah, the cost of living becomes extremely expensive. Now we mix that in with automation and the rise of AI, and jobs are starting to get replaced. The need and more so the requirement of universal basic income grows and grows and grows. This is very, very interesting. Now, also remember that AI is tied back to basically everything that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. When we're talking about the future of finance, the BIS already showed us this in terms of Project Agora with tokenization. This is also why I always push the idea of utility projects within this space. This is also why I talk about physical gold and physical silver as well, because central banks are stockpiling massive amounts of gold and silver. More so gold. We know that they don't have a significant amount of silver, but I do think that silver has tremendous ROI. But outside of that, right, they have proposed changes to KYC and AML. Separately, the BIS is proposing using AI to build models for AML and transaction monitoring. To train the AI, this involves sharing data across institutions in a privacy-preserving manner. Potentially, this could be done centrally or alternatively in a federated learning manner. The latter usually involves the algorithm working on a single bank's data and communicating a summarized result without sharing the underlying data. So they want to bring in AI and automation around AML and even KYC. And they even outlined this in the Digitalization of Finance report from May of 2024. If we actually look at this, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning. And this could be utilized for a variety of settings beyond, just AML and CFT. We also have use cases including credit underwriting, trading activities, pricing models, regulatory capital and planning, liquidity requirements and planning, fraud detection and prevention, anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism, chatbots, and even marketing. And we have the breakdown here: improving the client experience, superior pattern recognition ability, cost efficiencies, greater accuracy and consistency, better capability to accommodate very large and less structured data sets. I mean, they are pushing this and pushing this and pushing this. And the number one thing that I really want to highlight here is that AI is going to be sold and marketed to the public like it already is. Utilize ChatGPT, it'll make your life so much easier. Utilize this AI tool, it'll make your life so much easier. Once we start to see AI being adopted at full scale, that's when we start to see it pushed into the labor markets. And even over here, as we do really kind of look at this, yes, I do believe that 2025, we will see a lot of companies imploding as well, because I told you guys on many times in the past, right, as we kind of build up to this big finale, we are seeing the markets being propped up. We're starting to see, money printing again. This is all leading us to the markets being propped up just for them to melt down. And this is where we look at 2025 after elections. During the election year, they always prop these markets up. So after 2024, 2025 is where you should really be buckling up and preparing accordingly. This is why I say physical gold, physical silver, stockpiling some digital currencies as well that have strong utility tied to it. Because things are about to change in a very, very large way. And majority of the world is asleep. They are not even aware of what is happening. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.